And it is a major misnomer. It is just outright a lie from the pits of hell to suggest that black folk was introduced to Jesus when they came to America, and introduced to Jesus by white folks. I mean, that's just a lie from the pits of hell.
Talking about it, that students are they're digital consumers, not necessarily digital learners. I affirm that. I think the pandemic has given us permission to know that we don't have to be prisoners to a particular worship experience.
There we go.
Let me back up. Each of you, all of us have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, 32 great-great-great-grandparents, 64 great-great-great-great-grandparents, 128 great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, 256, and the number goes on. We come from so many people. We have enough people that we descend from to draw strength from on any day of the week.
A brand is really what your company stands for, or what you as an individual stand for, and you want that reflected in your image. You have to put in some work. Your career development is your responsibility. Your brand development is your responsibility. Gone are the days of climbing the corporate ladder and someone give you the map for climbing the corporate ladder, or tap you on the shoulder and say, we want you in this role. I think Black women, we're just now coming to this place where we believe that we are a valued commodity in the workforce, and not to diminish us to just a commodity, but I think we're just now starting to believe it, that Black Girl Magic is not just a slogan, it's a thing. And so
hey, my sisters, another week, another Tuesday. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello.
Viewing audience, please let us know that you are here. Let us know where it is that you're listening from. Doris Thorne, thank you, from Temple Hills, Maryland. We thank you, Doris, for being a viewer with us for a long time. Dr. Session. Hello,
yes.
hello, hello.
Hey,
Good to have
Dr.
you here today. Hello, Sharon Mitchell. I believe this is Sharon from Flint, Michigan. So good to have you with us. Come on, let us know that you are here. Listen, y'all. Normally, we do Around the Horn, and we got Wallace is not in her normal city, right? And I are. Even Bradford is. But we're going to start today. Oh, Dr. Melva Sands, hold up. Greetings, Pete Roll Chronicles. Hey!
Come on, PRC.
Hello.
PRC.
Cheryl McDaniel. Good to have you with us, you all. I don't know if you saw it or not. Cheryl McDaniel put a post on her Facebook page thanking timely wisdom for many of the guests that we've had. Dr. Sampson and Dr. Session, you are 2 of those individuals that she was able to call. She's at SMU Perkins right now, and brought you all's names up in her class. So we thank you for that. We thank God for our guests and what is happening. We're excited today, but I want us to start today with Dr. Chalice Bradford. Oh my God, you all.
Yes.
She didn't even make it home. She got blessed to be able to stop and be able to share in a public environment right now. But we'll let her tell all that. Dr. Bradford, tell us about your day today. Oh my God.
So today, I was invited to attend an event where President Biden attended, rather. And it was about fighting for the veterans' benefits. Of course, today is International Women's Day, and there are women here who are fighting for benefits, but they won't ask for them.
Wow.
And President Biden said, all you have to do is ask, and we are here for you. Why is it that we don't?
Wait a minute, Dr. Bradford, I know you're getting to the point, but hold on a second. You were in the same room with the President of the United States.
I was in the...
Okay, all right, okay.
I was talking about...
It's that groupie spirit.
I was in the same room with President
Second
Biden
row.
on the second row.
Second row. Yeah, say that.
Y'all, you is smart. You is, oh God, you is important. Oh.
You know what?
Important.
I love my sister, But when I tell you we're fighting for the benefits of our veterans. And it's when you go to the VA, and it seems as if they're just waiting and waiting and waiting to be served. What about our women who've been on the front line and now are not able to receive benefits? Come on, somebody, just ask for them. Go to the front of the line and ask and say, I am worthy of the benefits and I am going to get them. We need to fight a little harder for our sisters and our brothers for that matter. Come on, somebody. Yeah. While I'm here, Dr. Burns, let me just shout out my girl, Dr. Leslie Francisco McClendon. I have on her jacket. Today is her International Women's Day, right? So she creates these jackets. I can't show it all. Her story.
Okay. Oh,
right. Her story, and check it out. Her story.
Yeah.
And on this side, it has servant leader pastor. That's because that's who I am. On the back, it says I am AME. And I wish I could show you the back of it. It says her story. But I want you to go online, herstory.bigcartel.com. Girl, when I tell you whatever you want, she could put it on that jacket. But her brand is Her Story. Come on and hit up Leslie Francisco McClendon. She's a young sister, but a dynamic one. Okay, I'm done because I am so excited about today and what the Lord is doing and how God favored my life today to be in the same room with President Biden.
Say it again. Wait a minute. Say it again.
I was called on Friday. I was cleared on yesterday. And I stood in line today, and I am just so grateful and honored to be in the room.
Oh, y'all. Awesome. Timely wisdom.
Co-host in the room.
Yes. But she's really walking in that presidential favor because he couldn't make it home in time.
Listen.
She jumped off the highway at a hotel, the La Quinta Inn Hotel, there in Texas, and walked in with that fat presidential favor over her life. And the young lady said, no problem, set her up to do the broadcast from the hotel that she's not even staying in.
Yeah. That's what happened when you walk with the president. Wow. Yes, I see Reverend Larry. I recognize that you've not only been fighting for veterans, Reverend Larry, you are also a veteran. And I do want to honor you. We just for all of our viewers here. Let's see, Dr. Wallace, you are also not
Dr. Simmons.
I fight every day for our veterans at several VAs, in fact. So I do understand that our veterans sometimes have to wait in line because we just don't have enough resources. And there seems to be lower and lower and lower and lower and lower services that they are being provided. So we're here fighting for them as chaplains. We're fighting for them as doctors and psychologists and psychiatrists, because our veterans have really experienced some horrific things in the military. So I'm grateful that I have family members that have. My husband was in the Navy, my sister and brother were in the Army. So I'm here to fight for them and for their rights. So.
My husband and my brother and my father as well. But can I just say this, y'all? When I got into the hotel, the woman at the front desk, her name is Kim, she said, "Oh no, I'll set you up." She came over, made sure that everything was set up, made sure I had Wi-Fi, chair, lighting, everything. So I'm grateful for the woman that was in the room on this International Women's Day to help us sister out. Come on, shout it out. Thank you, Kim.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim. Yes. Dr. Wright, how are you?
She's online, y'all.
Oh my God. Oh,
Kimberly Dawson. All right.
Hello. Thank you, Kimberly, for allowing our sister to be able to make this broadcast and to share her story with us. Thank you. And you all, just a big shout out. You said it best. Dr. Wright, you pronounced the name the best. Say it again. You said La Quinta. Okay, because I say La Quinta. Okay, that's what I say. All right. Okay, so La Quinta.
They're wrong.
So thank you, Kimberly Dawson, for that. Your hospitality. You all remember that in the area. You make sure patronize that, and then also go online and put in a great review for Kimberly Dawson at La Quinta Hotel
in Fort Worth. Yeah, please do.
La Quinta Hotel in Fort Worth. Go online, audience, go online. Put in a great review for that. You all, we got a guest. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Law and Religion on today. Law and Religion. Who's doing the introduction? Come on, let's bring our guest.
Come on.
All right. It's on me today. And our guest today is attorney Natasha Robinson. She is a law professor since 2012 and a practicing criminal attorney. She is smart, y'all, and was an honors graduate from the University of Iowa in English. And she was an honors graduate from Chicago State University with a master's in English. She was awarded her Juris Doctorate from the University of Wisconsin's Law School in Madison, Wisconsin. She is a member of the Illinois Bar Association and a member of Delta Sorority. Oh God! She is a professor of Loyola University, Harold Washington College, and Chicago Public Schools. She is a published author. Her publications include, but are not limited to, What Then Shall We Say on These Things and What Juneteenth Means in 2021, a legal point of view, just to name a few. She is a well sought out panelist, and we are honored to have her with us today. Thank you, Timely Wisdom. And please put in the chat, she is the curator of Legaleaze, please. So welcome to the stage, our guest, the attorney, the honorable attorney, Natasha Robinson.
Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Wonderfully well.
Okay. Yes. I just want to make sure that that's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place, Dr. Wallace.
Absolutely. You're just a member of the Divine Nine that we started. That's all.
Emphasis on divine. So yeah. Absolutely. I'm just glad to be here. Dr. Bradford, Dr. Wright, Dr. Wallace, and Dr. Burns. Thank you all so much for having me. And before I say anything else, I give a major shout out to Kimberly Dawson. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping our dear sister out. That is just what we do. Women just taking care of women, and we just want to salute you for what you did, because you didn't have to do it.
That's right.
But you did. Yeah. So thank you so much. Just so glad to have you all here. And Dr. Bradford, I have already touched your box, touched and agreed, because you have been sitting in high places.
My sister, my story.
Glad you made it. Sorry.
Yeah. Me too.
I just love you, Attorney Robinson. I'll say that now. You are a wonderfully gifted woman of God. Let me say this again, my sword. We want to go ahead and start the question because you have a lot to say. Right. I know how, this is the first question we ask all of our guests. How you doing in these COVID streets?
as my older family members have said, and elders who are still here, and those that have gone on, I'm fairly middling, is what I'm doing.
Right.
I am making it the best way that I can. I am trying to be in some spaces slick as a can of oil. I slide in where I need to go, and I slide right on out. And as a person who lives with a pre-existing condition, I have to make doubly sure that when I go out and when I come in, that I am of no risk to anyone.
Yeah.
Most of all, my niece and my 5-year-old. So just doing the best I can. I will say that throughout this pandemic, it has been Black women who has been saving my life. I promise you. It has been Black women who have been saving my life from, and you've shouted them out. You got Dr. Melva Sampson, you got Dr. Irie Session, you got my sister, Reverend Carmen White Janet.
Yes.
You have all of these people that are not even in the chat. They're just, their presence is here. My sisters, Drea and two, my good friends, all of these Black women through different iterations have shown up in the midst of what has been going on. And they have been doing what we are created to do, which is to just be present. If it's nothing more than, hey girl, how you doing? Did you have some water? Have you eaten today? Leaving food on my doorstep for me and my daughter, who are showing up in the social highways and byways and just dropping a word or a text. It has been Black women who have been saving my life. Not a vaccination, not a mask, Black women.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Oh, that hit my soul. That hit my soul. Because we have to show up for each other. We do. You know, you founded this business, this ministry, that's what I'm calling it, called Legaleaze, Please. Our viewers don't know what that is. So what is Legaleaze, Please?
All right. So Legaleaze, Please is a digital and soon to be in-person platform and business where we are about the business of liberation, understanding that it is not a destination as much as it is a process.
And so say that again. You're about the business of, say that again.
We're about the business.
Fast. Somebody missed it.
We're about the business of liberation. And so what we do is that we engage in the demystifying, the decoding, and the deconstruction of legal language. And so what we do is we try to figure out not where we're going to start off, where the conversation usually is in incarceration. We're going to start with liberation in our liberated selves, in our liberated bodies, in our liberated mindsets. And it takes not just a reintroduction as much as it takes a remembering and awakening, wakening up your souls, wakening up your DNA. And so once you are seated in that position of power, then how are you able to look at the system and determine how do we build each other up by literally breaking it down, breaking down the language, breaking down the barriers, breaking down our biases. And so we do that in a way where you have reliable knowledge, you have equitable access, and you are able to get information about criminal law in a way that does not shame you, that does not make you feel guilty because you may not know what the other person knows. And so when we watch television and we watch these media cases that have been discussed, there is no call-in line where you can call and ask a question. And the majority of these summaries are given by white men or by people who have not even been in a courtroom in years.
My God.
So they're not able to touch the pulse and get the tenor and the tempo of what is going on. So Legaleaze, Please, it's for two reasons. One, there was a grandmother that I have by the name of Grandma Birdie. And she lives in the ancestral realm now. And whenever we would be at church, she felt that I was her personal attorney, and I never corrected her. I let her ask everything that she wanted to ask because she knew me and she trusted me. And so every time she would ask me a question, I would give an answer, and she would say, "There go legalese, there go legalese." And
Wow.
so that has always stayed with me. I completely forgot about that until May of 2020, when after the murder of George Floyd, there were people that were coming on my social media pages and asking me, well, what does this mean? Well, what does that mean? And I had been doing it for years. But I said, you know what? Let me see if I can at least have some language that talks in a way that people can understand, and to do it in a way that doesn't always mean that every time you have a conversation about law, there is discomfort. Let's ease into it. Let's figure out how can we have a conversation where it's not always battling, where you're not always the victim, the defendant, or the witness. Because usually in these legal streets, when we talk about criminal law, it is not because of a celebration. It is because someone has offended someone, or someone has been on the end of the offense. And so I said that I wanted to create this platform, and it wasn't until I was asleep, or right around the 2 to the 4 o'clock in the morning, everything just started downloading. I felt my ancestors just saying, okay, you're going to do this, and now you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. And I would just be like, okay, I just do it. I'll wake up and I'll put them notes in when I wake up. To be like, no, get up. Because that's how my ancestors talk to me. Get up and put in your phone the following. And everything just came just like that. They helped me get a LLC. They put me in contact with connections that are divine and that are right. They had me bringing on Black women, where it was not about the decentering, it was the centering of Black women, because we are usually the type of population where everything we say, it just goes in one ear, presumably, and out the other. And so just to be able to continue to do what I've already been called to do, I feel that, as Dr. Bradford said, I do feel this is ministry. I am by no means anybody's preacher or pastor, but I am an advocate, which is another synonym for a pastor. When you have pastors and preachers that are speaking on a pulpit, I don't need to be elevated. Everywhere I stand is a pulpit. Every time I talk to somebody, anytime we discuss different legal issues, it is a congregation. This is a service right here.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for people to say what is on their mind, and to do it without fear or without condemnation or without shame. So I'm here for all of it, which is why I'm always happy to be with you all, and now to be on this side. It is divine alignment.
Yeah. We're grateful that you're here, that you said yes. There is a term called criminal justice.
Yes.
And we've talked about this before, but is there really such a thing as criminal justice?
I believe that we like to think that there is such a thing as criminal justice. And I was talking about this a while ago with my sister, Dr. Irene. It wasn't a planned conversation, but as I kept saying criminal justice, I started to think, is justice criminal? Is there justice for those who are charged with crimes, for those who have been injured or harmed by crime? Now, according to the research, and listen to the language, and you will start to hear the patriarch, the father of criminal justice. His name is Cesare Beccaria. He is known to be the father of criminal justice as well as the father of criminal law. So if you are talking about criminal justice, then what are we giving justice to? If we're giving justice to criminals, then what is justice? And so if we are giving something to someone who has committed a wrong, then we are also giving them power to say what is justice. So what happens is that
Attorney Robinson, I'm going to interrupt this. I need you to pick it up. But someone is asking, how can folks support your legal platform? And we want that in the chat. So put that out there while you're answering this question. All right.
Okay.
Sorry about the interrupt.
Oh, no. It's all right. So the way to go is I'm on all socials. If you want to, I don't want to say follow because that fits a hierarchy. If you want to connect with me, if you want to invest in this work, then you can go to Legaleaze Please, which is on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. It's on Twitter. It's on LinkedIn. You can email me at legaleazeplease@gmail.com. So if you see at the bottom where it says Legaleaze Please, put that together and then put at gmail.com. And then just connect with me, and I promise I will connect with you.
For sure.
So I say all that to say, when we're talking about criminal justice, we're talking about justice determined by particular people. It is not a uniform justice. It is a justice depending upon the perspective of people in power. So if you think about criminal justice, what has been just before has not always been right. If you talk about, and if you look at the history of different laws, you will see that legality always follows morality. So when you have persons who have thinking that they have power, they take what they believe and then they legalize it. They put it into legal practice. So while drinking might have been immoral before, now all of the drinkers are saying, you know what? Let's pass it. And so now you have a law that overrides prohibition. When you think about the use of marijuana, where you still have to this day, people are sitting in federal and state prisons all because of a little bit of weed and a little bit of melanin. Okay. But you have their counterparts who are out and about building dispensaries and legalizing marijuana. So when people say, you know what, not only is it so-called moral, but it lines my pockets. So now I'm going to legalize it. So now what may have been illegal is now legal because someone decided it is now moral. So if you follow the trajectory of laws and of issues that have come throughout our country, you will see that everything that is legal starts with someone deciding that it is now moral. And that is where criminal justice comes in, because although it is a term, when you use that term, you're trying to decide, well, who gets to decide justice? I'll tell you, you really get to decide justice, but it's your vote that push forward justice. So now you have legislators, you have judges, you have police officers, you have jurors, you have probation officers. All of these people, you have people who carry out the laws, the executive branch, people who make the laws, legislative branch. There are a lot of people that think that there are the president has to do everything, and everything can only affect you at a federal level. I'm here to tell you that your legislature will affect you quicker than the president of the United States.
And locally especially.
Locally, especially, Dr. Wallace, because President Biden, as much as we may adore him, he ain't saying nothing about these streets out here, putting these potholes over. He's not saying anything about the food desert, where our children and I used to teach. They get their breakfast not from Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. They're going to the gas station to get the flaming hot. They're going to get the drink. And so when you had in Cook County, for example, the sugar tax, the reason why my children in Chicago public schools were so upset was because it was raising up the prices of their nutrition. Now, is it really nutritious? Absolutely not. However, that's all they had to eat. That's all they had to drink. And so when you're talking about criminal justice, you're talking about the people that make the laws. And how do people make the laws get in power? By our votes. And even if we say, well, I didn't vote this, you still voted. Because if you chose not to vote, you are voting not to make a decision. Okay? So when you have criminal justice and then you apply it to criminal justice systems, then you start to figure out that the system that is created is to produce. It is to produce a particular result. So, Dr. Wallace, when you were talking about what I wrote about, what shall we say to all these things, you will hear a lot of people saying that if there is a conviction against the murderer for George Floyd, or if there is a conviction for, well, I can't say Breonna Taylor because her killers have still not been arrested. But if there are justice for the family of Ahmaud Arbery, for example, you will have attorneys that will come out and say, this is a score for justice, and this is it. No, it's not, because the criminal justice system is to produce a particular result. And when someone is held accountable, there's a glitch in that system. So the system in the United States is not broken. It's working exactly how it was created to be.
Say more about the glitch in the system. What do you mean if someone's held accountable?
Sure. So when I say that there's a glitch in the system, think about a conveyor belt. And think about how the conveyor belt is built to assemble different parts to a car. And as that conveyor belt is coming down, there are different workers. They have different numbers, and they are assigned to, I'm going to be in charge of the windshield. I'm going to be in charge of the airbags. I'm going to be in charge of the seats, because the goal is to have a completed car by the end of the conveyor belt. When we're talking about criminal justice systems, educational systems, religious systems, financial systems, there is a process and there is an outcome and a goal. And that goal for Black and brown people, that goal for transgendered persons, that goal for those that live with disability, the goal for LGBTQ persons is to continue to be disenfranchised. And so when there's a glitch in the system is for us not to win, for us not to get justice. But there's a glitch. So all of a sudden, some shakes, and then person be like, you know what? I didn't end up getting a conviction because someone decided they didn't need a film of me getting my behind whooped by police. They took me at their word. A glitch in the system looks like, oh my goodness, Black women do not have to be decentered, and we are coming after those who are engaging in crimes of violence, those who are making a laughing joke about women being stalked, about women being beaten, about women being called out of their name. When we start having those type of accountabilities, then that's a glitch in the system. But when we take that system and we break it down to it's forever broke and we get rid of it, then you're not going to have any glitches. What you're going to have is true liberation, which is why Legaleaze Please was created in the first place. It's to remind people that we did not start in incarceration. We did not start being in custody. We started when we were free. And so the freedom comes, if not even in our body, it comes in our mindset. And so Legaleaze Please is designed to, as Professor James Small said, to give a communal libation. When you are
hold a second, I'm sorry. So hold on. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I need to breathe and exhale for a moment. I need to yell for a moment. Okay, go ahead, keep talking.
I said you have Professor James Small, who is a professor as well as a Babalowo of the Ifa Orisha tradition. He said that every time you do a libation, you are saying to the ancestors, I am asking you to wake up in me as me. And so when we start to remember liberation, what you were saying
hold on again. Hold on again. The ancestors said, say that again, now say it slow.
The ancestors, according to Professor James, let me make sure I'm saying his name right. His name is Professor James Small. He is in this movie that is made by Ancestral Wisdom, I think it's called, and it's called Spirit is Eternal. He said that whenever we do a libation, whenever we call out the names of Big Mama, of Granddaddy, of Fannie Lou Hamer, of Mary McLeod Bethune, of Ida B. Wells, we are saying to these persons, show up in me as me. We're waking them up. We're allowing ourselves to remember who we are, and we're saying that Mansa, the different African kings and queens, we are calling them up. We are saying whether we had a great grandfather or grandmother who was a queen or not, we may not have been queens and kings in a particular station, but we have always been kings and queens in our mind.
Okay, hold on. Attorney, I hate to keep interrupting you. I'm so tired of mine. I need our viewing audience. I need y'all to start calling on the names right now. Put it in the chat of those ancestors that you want to see come through as you. Did I hear you correctly, attorney?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so y'all, did we just take them and see you? Who I need in the scriptures it says Selah.
You know what?
You're gonna need a pause.
We need a breath. We need a breath, a pause right there. You, Attorney Robinson, you are absolutely passionate about Black people, but in particular, Black women. You share that they are at the intersection and integration of some things, including law. You said some things have intersections, and some things need integration.
Yes.
Please share with our viewers your thought process when you were saying this. Girl, because this is jacking me up right here.
What I mean is that when we talk about intersectionality, which first, before I say and use the term, I'm going to shout out Professor Kimberly Crenshaw, who is a Black woman, who is a law professor, who is one of the founders of Say My Name. She is the creator of the term intersectionality. And what she talks about is how when we show up to different places, some people will say, I think the example she gives is there is some type of accident, and you have different people that are arriving to the accident, and instead of helping the person who is injured, you have one person say, well, are they Muslim or are they Christian? You have another person saying, well, are they gay or are they straight? You have another person that says, well, are they abled or are they disabled? And her point is saying, when we're talking about intersectionality, we're talking about helping the entire person and allowing that person to show up as themselves. Now, that term intersectionality has gotten co-opted. So now, in order to sound deep, there are some of us who say, well, we're going to show up at the intersection of race, of politics, and of gender. We're going to show up at the intersection of religion and law. And that is fine. That's fine. But what I feel about intersectionality is that sometimes intersections can change. Integration is where you are allowing the whole person, like a tapestry. You're allowing them to show up, and you're giving them space, and you're encouraging them to show up, not just in this box, not just at this label, bring your whole self. So in that way, when we fight for justice, when we do justice, as Micah talks about, we're talking about doing justice for everyone, despite and in spite of the labels that they carry on their back when they show up to that space. So you don't have to be in a Christian Methodist location if you are gay and you are Muslim. It don't matter, because you need the assistance, you need the support, and we got to get out of just checking boxes. We got to be able to feel, enough to show up in our spaces as ourselves.
I'm sorry, hold on again. I'm trying to figure out in my head if the organ is in B flat or E flat. I can't tell right now. Lord have mercy. Ooh, okay. All right. I just need to breathe. Hold on. Hold on. You hold on. Okay. All right. Go on. Go on.
I'm just saying that
Go ahead.
integration is talking about showing up as ourselves. I remember another friend of mine, Reverend Levon Briggs. She has a social media platform. It used to be called the Proverbial Experience, and now it's called Sensual Faith. In one of her sermons, she was talking about there was I believe, a queer theologian. I can't remember their name, but one of the questions they asked, which she is reiterating, is who does it benefit for us to be broken? Who does it benefit for us to not show up as our full selves? Who does it benefit for us to walk around and we assimilate when we are, again, we're not calling up the DNA. We're not calling up who we are in Lonnie Guinier, in Thurgood Marshall, in people who have the legal experience, the religious experience, the economic experience. We forget that people took a whole route all the way to the continent of Africa to learn from us. I have been in a space where my niece told me that her Black male teacher told her that they were going to separate the children into Chicago and the suburbs based upon intelligence. So, of course, I had to do a field trip. I had to roll up to the school and I say, while you are talking about Black people, why are you not talking about the Black mathematics? Why are you not talking about the places where DC and Chicago were created by people who just looked at the stars and then they would start figuring out different quadrants? Why are you not talking about the Black scientists? Why are you not talking? And he, he's nodding and he's saying, yeah, my mama, she's a teacher. She told me I shouldn't try it. You think? So think about the family that did not show up for the children. And so now the children are thinking it's okay. But you know what? Any child should not have to rely on their biological family to show up, because we should show up. I don't have to birth you to invest in you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All of us have gotten here because you had extra mamas and extra daddies.
Attorney.
You walk home.
Attorney.
Yes, Dr. Burns.
She on our street, Dr. Burns.
So say it again. I don't have to birth you. Say it again. Slow it down. To invest in you. Okay.
Do not.
Sound like some womanism to me and womanist theology to me, because we all look after each other. That is what we do.
Yeah.
That's who we are. It's not about your child and mine. It's our children.
That's right. That's right. And you have to, I suggest we be intentional about creating those relationships. One of the worst things that was ever destroyed was the front porch. That was one of the worst things that could ever be destroyed by people who are building houses, because that was our neighborhood watch. We didn't have to look to the police. We didn't have to look to ADT and the ring and all that type of stuff. If I was somewhere that I knew Ms. Johnson was like, where's your mama? Ms. Johnson already knows the answer. So what she's doing, tying it back to law, she's cross-examining me is what she's doing. Because cross-examination teaches you, you don't ask a question to which you don't know the answer. So she's already trying to see, where's your mama? And so if I say, oh, my mama said, she's like, oh, okay, all right. By the time I roll my bike down the street, Ms. Johnson has talked to my mama, she's talked to my daddy, and then she's told other neighborhood people, when you see Natasha outside, she ain't supposed to be out there. So I would get reprimanded, and I do mean spanked, by my mother. And then my mother would hype my daddy up and say, wait till your daddy get home. And then it was like a tag team, WWE wrestling. And next thing you know, I knew that what we not finna do is do that. Because every time my sisters and I left the house, my mother would always say, "You're taking my name with you. Don't come back void. Don't come back void." So that's
My
what
God.
the criminal law is. That's what I mean by the intersection and integration. Do you see how in that conversation we talked about law, we talked about economics, we talked about mathematics, we talked about science, we talked about communalism, we talked about police, we talked about government. All of that are intersections, but it is all integrated. And all we need to do is to sit and to not just remember as in to recall, but to remember, to understand we ain't never just been a myopic people. We've never just had one narrative. We've never had just one perspective. And so what Legally Pleased is it saying, bring all of yourself to this place. We establish it as sacred. I can go into a church. I can go into a synagogue. I can go into a business. I can go into a school. And what I say in one place, I'm going to say the same thing in all the other places. And I don't worry about being rejected because I'm bringing my whole self to me. I'm bringing my whole self to the location. And if we can encourage more of that, we can continue to break down the criminal justice system, because now you have persons who have been hurt and persons who are doing the hurting. We are not just addressing their label. We're not just addressing the label on the back of their shirt. We're telling, I see you as a person and you show up as yourself. Yes, there is accountability, but there's also liberation and understanding. We can support you past what you've been called by other people for so long.
Yes.
Woo, now, we just need a praise break right now because, honey, you messing us up right here. But you talk about Black women. And of course, we know that you are passionate about Black women. But why do you believe Black women are not protected when it comes to justice?
So the best way I can explain this is, when I was growing up, the church that I was a member of was Trinity United Church of Christ. My pastor, who was now my pastor emeritus, was Dr. Jeremiah Wright. He would bring in these speakers, and the one speaker that came in when I was about 7 or 8, his name was Dr. William Augustus Jones. And he preached, and then he taught from his book, God in the Ghetto. And so what Dr. Jones said, which when I was writing this paper, I was like, man, I don't have no $400,000 to get a copy of God in the Ghetto. Dad Jay, can I borrow it? And after he gave his answer, which was basically no, I was like, well, how about if you talk about it and then I quote you talking about it, so then I can put you in the paper. And so what he says because I came with books. What he said was in this book that was written by Dr. Susan Williams Smith, and it's called The Book of Jeremiah. And this is the quote that helps me answer your question. Quote, Dr. Jones in his book, God in the Ghetto, argues quite accurately that one's theology, how I see God, determines one's anthropology, how I see humans, and one's anthropology then determines one's sociology, how I order my society. So in my teaching,
Hold on. There you go. Hold on.
Please repeat that. Yes,
All right.
all of that.
Okay.
repeat that.
All right. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Breathe. Let's say all ladies.
Oh, I'm fine.
No, that's for us.
For Dr. Burns.
All right. Now go ahead.
No, I love
Okay,
it.
here is the quote. Dr. Jones, talking about William Augustus Jones. Dr. Jones, in his book, which is called God in the Ghetto, argues quite accurately that one's theology, how I see God, determines one's anthropology, how I see humans, and one's anthropology then determines one's sociology, how I order my society. So in my teachings with my students, when I also teach faculty, I expand the definition of God. And so what I say is God is not the person that, we think of in terms of a deity. God is anything or anyone that a person worships or idolizes. So it could be a God of an institution. It could be a God of a pedagogy. It could be God of a political belief. Whatever it is. So when you have whatever your God is, how you see that God then determines how you see the people with whom you come in contact. And then it affects how you order them in terms of a hierarchy. So if I see God as a cisgendered, heterosexual white male, then my preferential treatment is for cisgender, heterosexual white men. So then in my sociology, I order them in terms of preference. I prefer cisgendered, heterosexual white males because that's the God I serve.
My God.
The reason why Black women do not get justice is because no one is seeing God as a Black woman.
Come on, Dr. Jacqueline Grant. Come on, Dr. Jacqueline Grant. Come on. In the room, Dr. Jacqueline Grant.
So
you can come back, Dr. Byrne.
So what does it look like when we talked about who does it benefit? When we start to see the gods we serve as being Black, feminine, female, woman, transgendered, non-binary, non-English speaking, immigrants,
my God,
those who are queer, those who may not be able, those who rather live with chronic diseases. When we start to deify that, when we start to recognize the divinity in that, then it will start to come down. And now I hold them in high esteem. And I'm going to protect everybody that resembles my God.
My.
All right, now that's preaching now. That's preaching. I just need you to repeat one more time for our audience to always, in my mind, look at the text and ask the question, who benefits? Who benefits? I believe Dr. Burns and I had a conversation just a few months ago about the woman Rahab and who benefits from the story that we are told about Rahab. No one ever talks about what's in the Catholic Bible, the Catholic commentary that says Rahab was a businesswoman. She was not the harlot that we hear about.
No, she was not.
She was running an enterprise.
She was not. She was a businesswoman who was trying to make sure that her business was successful.
Listen, to quote the gospel according to Jay-Z, she was a business woman, not a businesswoman. She was a business woman. When he says, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman, that's what she was.
That's right.
And she was so successful that unless I read all of the begats wrong, is she not related to Jesus the Christ?
Come on, Matthew, come on here. Listen.
That's the genealogy.
Exactly. And I believe that when you have persons who are recalling, because I used to skip all the begets, because I'm like, I don't care who's related to who. That ain't nothing but ancestry. It's saying I got here because my mother married my daddy, and my mother is the daughter of Mary May, who is the daughter of Lillian Gordon Sturdivant, who is the daughter of, that's all it is. And so every time I call the name of Lillian Gordon Sturdivant, every time I call the name of Mary May, I am waking them up in me, because I am their great grandchild. I am their granddaughter.
Yes.
And so when you see me, you are seeing all of them. And so when you have those songs that say the Jesus in me, when you see, you are literally seeing in Jesus' face Rahab. You are literally seeing all of the people that he called up in him. So it's us. We're just as divine.
Amen.
Just as divine.
Yeah, this is
You gotta come back, y'all. Y'all need to put that in the chat.
Well, Dr. Wallace, we know that.
Go ahead and say it, Dr. Burns.
That on we're having a special viewing audience. We're having a special edition of Timely Wisdom on Saturday. On a Saturday, April the 9th. It is actually a forum and a workshop that we're having. There's registration that is with it. Natasha Robinson and her Legalese Please is what we call the anchor of this forum and special session. We will have two other persons in dialogue with her that are in religion and in social justice. So mark the date, April the 9th, which is a Saturday. We're having a very special edition of Time to Wisdom. It will not be broadcast on through these mediums, because it will be a registered event to really deal with some issues. You can have some in-person one-on-one conversations with our three mainstay guests. So mark your date in the calendar and look for that registration. Saturday, April the 9th. Legalese Please is the anchor for this. We've only gotten a snippet of all that. that is so correct, Dr. Bradford. And so April the 9th, plan to be a part of this.
Let me just say this. This has been absolutely wonderful. Most of the books that you mentioned, Attorney Robinson has mentioned, Pink Road Chronicles have actually put it in the chat. Commission to Heal is put in the chat. Antonia is put in the chat. You can go back to them and pick up those books that she is referring to. We are absolutely speechless, for the Lord is with you, for real. God has shown us through you what it means to be a Black woman, to roll up, to strengthen each other. And we are excited about what God is doing in your life and what God will do. It's a setup for you to show up and be up, as you say, and roll up. So thank you for being here. Dr. Burns.
Wow, just thank you. Hope, if you will, just wait backstage for us just for a moment. This has been beyond a blessing. Just thank you. Ladies, on next week, today was just phenomenal and powerful. Again, I want to say to our viewing audience, to hear more of Attorney Natasha Robinson, Legalese Please, playing now April the 9th, to be a part of what we call our special edition registration. It will not be streamed or broadcast. This is a registered event, so we can have some one-on-one time and in-depth conversation with our guests. On next week, we have a very special guest that will be with us, Dr. Karen Johnson. She is in, I want to say, the Baltimore, Maryland area, who will be with us on next week. You don't want to miss that conversation that we'll have with her. And again today, oh my God, Attorney Robinson, woo-wee. I'm going to have to take a nap after today's broadcast. We bless you all. Come back next week. Same time, same place, ladies.